Welcome to another episode of America in Black and White. Tonight we have another former professional athlete that's done a great transition in his life that's bringing positive outlooks to his community. This athlete was born and raised in Monroe, Louisiana. He's a former NBA player. He's now an actor, an award-winning author, filmmaker, motivational speaker, and minister, founder of Faithful&Focused Ministries, with as a mission to empower and inspire people globally to be faithful in who God created them to be and focused on utilizing the gifts that He has given them. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce Kenyon Glover to the show, please. Good evening, Kenyon. How are you?
Hey, I'm well, man. I'm absolutely blessed. How about yourself?
I am excellent, and thank you for coming on the show and blessing us to have the possibility of you sharing some insight as to the path that you has taken since being in the league and the wonderful things that you're doing in your community.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on, man. Yeah, I'm all about empowerment. I'm all about just making a difference and making an impact in this world, man. So, I'm still blessed to be here. God saved my life. So I said, you know what? God, you saved me for a purpose. So I'm going to walk in my purpose. So I walk in purpose every single day. I don't waste any time. I don't play.
But that's a good thing, and I'm definitely glad to hear that. Tell us, since you've been in the league and since you left the league, how has that transition been? What is it that you decided that you was going to do that's going to make this difference that where you are right now?
Well, when I was in the league, it was something that I wanted to achieve since I was 7 years old. My goal as a kid was to make it to the NBA. And I did that. I accomplished that mission. I accomplished that dream. And unfortunately, my dream was cut short at a very early stage in my career. So I had to give it up. I had to accept the fact that my career was over as an NBA player, as an athlete. I can no longer do the thing that I love to do. So I had to accept that. It was hard for me. It took years and years for me to accept the fact that I can no longer do the thing that I've worked sweat, blood, tears all my life to do, and I can no longer do it. So it took me years to accept that. And when I did get the chance to accept it, I had to find out what else could I do? What other gifts and talents do I have? What am I going to do with my life now? So I stumbled into the entertainment industry. I got into acting and filmmaking and modeling, and that really took off for me. But you know what? Through all of that, I still felt some kind of emptiness. I felt not really happy. Even though I was enjoying what I was doing, I just wasn't happy. I still felt empty. I still felt there was something else that I was supposed to be doing. And then just a few years ago, I tried to commit suicide because I was going through a lot. I was going through, some personal issues that I couldn't really deal with. It was like the weight of the world was on my shoulders, and I just wanted a way out. And so I tried to commit suicide, tried to take my own life, and in that process, God spoke to me. He said, "That's enough," because that was the fourth attempt for me, fourth suicide attempt, and I was like, "That's enough. Enough is enough." So I took that as, okay, God has another reason. He has another purpose for me. There's something else I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know what it is, but I said, Lord, I'm gonna trust you. So I dedicated my life to serving God. And before you know it, I start writing a book. My book released in 2021, and that just took off, and other doors start opening for me, and I started speaking. I became a minister, and it's just everything since then, since 2020, has been incredible. And now I know what my purpose is, and now that's why I said I walk in purpose every single day. So now I figured out finally what my purpose is.
Well, I'm glad that you're here today, and I think you're serving that purpose well. Can you tell us, tell our audience, what was some of the pivotal moments in your early life that influenced your career path?
As far as basketball goes, or as far as Anything specific?
Basketball, well, just basketball, then you're also into your transitioning.
Um, I mean, like I said, when I was 7, I wanted to play ball. That was my dream. I grew up watching Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was my hero back then. So I wanted to be like Mike. So I just wanted to, I wanted to be on his level. I said, I'm going to get there, Mike. I'm going to get there. And my dream is to play against Mike and be on the same floor as Mike and, to become one of the best athletes in the world that I could be. So, that's all I thought about. And I worked my butt off to get to that point. I knew what I had to do. I had to train, I had to practice, I had to work, I had to work on my game every single chance I got. And um, as I grew and got older, I started to get a little recognition. Started to grow a little bit and started to get a little full of myself and started to get all these accolades and people started noticing me and colleges started reaching out and noticing me. So I was like, okay, I think this is it. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. Hard work pays off. All the hard work I put into myself, my game, it paid off. And that's what it was about. It was about putting in the work, persevering, enduring through the trials and tribulations, enduring through the process of people telling me, because I came up in a small country town, Monroe, Louisiana. I'm sure a lot of people never even probably heard of it. Small country town in Louisiana. Nobody thought I was going to go to the NBA. Nobody thought I was going to go to the league. They laughed at me when I said I'm going to the league. Nobody really supported me. Except my family, of course, but people that was, in the city and watched me play, they was like, it's nice to have that dream, but come on now, ain't nobody going to leave Monroe. You're not going to go to no NBA for Monroe. And I proved everybody wrong. Everybody. So it was good to get to that point where, you know what? I proved every last one of my doubters wrong. Everybody in Monroe, Louisiana, they still to this day, they was like, wow, I can't believe you really made it. You got out of Monroe and you made it. They actually gave me a proclamation last year to Monroe. Monroe gave me a proclamation. They have my own day, Kenyon Glover Day in Monroe, Louisiana, for everything that I've accomplished. So I'm proud to say, that was a proud moment when I got to experience that, getting my own day in my hometown. So that's been pretty much a turning point for me, growing up. My family just believing in me. My mom, my dad pushing me, saying, forget whatever people saying, block that out. You're gonna make it. Just keep doing what you're doing, keep working. So their belief in me, they're pushing me constantly to be the best that I could be was all that I needed. That was all that I needed to keep going further and further.
Well, congratulations on that accomplishment, and I'm sure that there's many, many more that's going to be coming. So, how did your upbringing in Monroe, Louisiana, shape your perspective on life and career choices?
My upbringing, you know what? My parents instilled discipline in me. My parents instilled discipline, hard work, commitment. And I knew that if I wanted to really be the best at something, I had to get disciplined. I had to stay committed. I had to stay committed to the process because I knew the process wasn't going to be easy. I knew the journey was not going to be easy. So, just them instilling constant discipline, constantly staying committed, constantly staying focused. They was like, look, if this is what you want to do, you got to stay focused. You cannot let outside distractions, women and all these other things knock me off of my focus. And I was a very disciplined kid. I was a very focused kid. Once I put my mind to something, just like I am now, once I put my mind to something, I get tunnel vision. Everything else doesn't matter. I'm focused on obtaining my goal. And that's what I was taught as a kid. That was my upbringing. So my parents, especially my stepdad, he was one of those lecturers. He liked to lecture. Like we could sit down for 4 and 5, 6 hours, and my stepdad would just talk, lecture us. And one of the things he always preached was hard work, determination. You got to be hungry. You got to be obsessed. If you're trying to be great, you got to be obsessed with whatever you're trying to do. And my obsession was becoming great. My obsession was reaching the NBA. And my obsession got me there. So I just thank God for the parents that he gave me. You know, my mom, my stepdad, my dad. They all pushed me. They all pushed me. So I'm glad that they was there to push me.
So, one thing that's important as, as we have, these younger men that are in the audience that are actually listening to and watching the podcast right now. I want you to, if you can like reach down and as you're speaking, I need you to just tell them what inspired you to enter the entertainment industry, and how did you take your first steps in your acting career?
Well, you know what? I got into entertainment by accident. A friend of mine asked me to come audit an acting class with him. So I was like, all right, whatever, man. I'll tag along and just, just go support you. So I was in the back of the class, just checking it out, just supporting him as he doing his thing. And the acting class, they were short of students that day. And the acting coach asked me to participate. I was like, okay, I'll participate, whatever. And I participated, and I got up there and I participated, and I did a scene with my friend. And at that moment, I was like, okay, I like this. It's kind of cool. So I decided to take the acting class myself. I signed up and I started taking it. And before you know it, months later, man, I went out for an audition and I booked the first audition I went to. I got the leading role in a film called The Chip Factor. I remember it like it just happened yesterday. I got the leading role and I was like, wow, I just got the lead role in my first audition. Like I felt just like on top of the world at that moment. And I was like, you know what? I think this is something that I may want to make a career out of. So after the movie was shot, after we did it, we released it. It did good. It got good reviews, and people praised me for my acting. And everybody was like, yo, if you want to take this serious, you got to move to LA. You got to go out to Cali. That's where it's at. So, man, that's all they needed to tell me. So 6 months later, I packed my bags and I headed to Hollywood. And I got to Hollywood in 2006, and I started taking some acting classes there, and I started going out on auditions, and man, I was booking stuff, man. My first major role that I got in California was Young and the Restless. I got a good part on Young and the Restless, and man, that was the turning point right there. Once I got that part on Young and the Restless, it's like all these other doors started opening up for me, and I got more and more confident in myself, and I was like, you know what? This is going to be my new career. So I made that out of career, and I've been in it since then. I mean, it's 2023. I've been doing it now since 2006, so 17 years now. I've been in the game. So I'm glad to still be in it. I'm glad to still be doing it. To still be getting parts and staying relevant. So it's been an amazing journey. I'm just proud of the career I made out of myself when from going from the NBA athlete to now an actor and filmmaker, man. It's been a great journey so far.
Well, I think, just to add to that, reflecting on your career, what do you consider as your most significant milestones, and how did you overcome challenges along the way?
Of course, one of my most significant milestones is, of course, is making it to the NBA. That was the pinnacle of milestones for me, because that was my lifelong dream as a kid. um, just to say I made it to the NBA, I could take that to my grave, because so many kids have that dream and they don't make it. I mean, you know how hard it is to get to the NBA. I mean, it's always like one out of every 1,000 or some 10,000 kids make it to the NBA.
Yeah.
So, and I just happened to do it, man. So that right there is the pinnacle of milestones for me. From a small town in Monroe, Louisiana, and just overcome that whole situation of having so many people that doubted me that I could even make it out of Monroe. Um, and if I had to choose another one, um, wow, it's so many. um, I would say getting to the point where I am now, that I'm able to impact the lives of so many people on a worldwide scale, um, because I've overcame so much in my life. I've overcame so many storms, so much stuff that was meant to kill me. I was supposed to have been dead years ago. But I'm here. And just to be able to get to this point and being able to empower so many people and to make an impact and make a difference in so many people's lives, man, that to me is just, it means more than anything to me. Because so many people are suffering in silence these days. So many people are depressed and suffering from mental health and mental illness and suicidal. And I'm able to be that beacon of light, that beacon of hope to so many people. And I'm able to bring them out of that light, to bring them out of that hopelessness that they're feeling, and out of that brokenness, and give them hope and instill some kind of joy into their lives, man. To me, that's the best feeling in the world, where you can change the lives of other people and alter, their journey, because they may be heading down the wrong journey, the wrong path, and you're able to get them on the right path and give them hope. That means a lot to me.
So you mentioned earlier about the depression and the suicide attempts. When did you realize that this was happening to you, and did you ever figure out a way to solve that problem?
It happened to me when I was told that I couldn't play ball anymore. When the doctor told me that my career was over, when he told me I had to retire, when I had that career-ending injury, my knee injury, I was done. And at that moment in time, that was the most devastating news that any athlete could ever hear: is your career is over because of an injury. So me trying to accept that news at that time was more than I could take. Um, and that was the first suicidal attempt that I had. Was a month later. I think it was close to a month later when I found that news out. And like I said, that was the most devastating thing I've ever experienced. So I didn't know how to handle that kind of news, because basketball was all I knew. So once he told me that, I didn't know how to really take it. I didn't know how to accept it. So I was like, you know what? I can't take this pain. I can't deal with this pain that I'm feeling, that I can no longer do the thing that I love to do. So I tried to take my own life. I tried to end my own life. That was the first suicide attempt. And when that attempt didn't go the way I planned or the way I wanted it to, I knew then that, one, God saved my life. He spared my life. And two, I had a serious problem that I had to address. And I knew that I was dealing with some major depression, some major sadness that I didn't know how to cope with. And I knew that I had to seek help, to seek some kind of healing or something, some kind of something. So I started seeing a therapist, started getting counseling, and it helped me for a while. It helped me for a while. That kind of put me back on track a little bit.
But you know what I think was important about that, Kenyon, is that I think you and I discussed this prior to you coming on the show. But there are a lot of young black men and black men in general that actually have a lot of symptoms, and they feel a lot of pain and just a lot of things going on, and they don't know how to communicate it. They don't know how to find an outlet. I mean,
Mhm.
like, can you like just tell these young men and young women as well, like, what is it that they should look for, and how should they address this where it does not become really, really serious?
I mean, things to really look for is, if you're feeling like you're really sad all the time, you're feeling so unmotivated, you're feeling like you want to take your own life like on a daily basis. You're just feeling like you just have no purpose. You just feel like you're just wasting life, wasting time, and you just have no energy, a lack of energy, to a lack of focus, a lack of everything. You just feel like you just don't want to be here. You're tired. You're tired of seeing everything that's going on in the world. You just feel like the world is just weighing you down. When you have that feeling, you're really dealing with a lot of depression. You're really dealing with a lot of anxiety, because that's how I was feeling. So I know it all too well. I know how that feels. because I felt that for so long. So when you feel that, you just want it to go away. You want it to go away, and you feel like there's no other solution but to take your own life. That's the only way the pain is going to end and go away. And if that's what you're feeling, then you definitely got to seek help. Therapists are really good. Counseling is really good. Just talking to somebody. Sometimes people just need to vent. Sometimes people just need an ear to listen. And that really helps when you feel like you can talk to somebody without being judged. I think that's the most important thing when dealing with depression or mental health. People don't want to be judged. They just want to vent. They just want people to listen and understand their point, understand where they're coming from, understanding their pain, their suffering, what they're really going through, how they're really feeling. I think for me, people can, I'm able to really make an impact because people can relate. I can relate to what they're feeling. And people can relate to my story when I tell them, I felt the same way. This is, I'm so familiar with how you're feeling. So people can relate to me and I can relate to them. So that's why I'm able to kind of give people that sense of hope, that sense of joy. Um, but it's nothing wrong with seeking help. There's nothing wrong with getting counseling and just getting therapy and talking to people. But I think the hardest part for people is finding people they can trust. Finding people they can trust, because I think a lot of people don't feel like they can trust a lot of people. If they tell them their business, they're gonna go tell somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And people are gonna start making fun of them or whatever the case may be. People are gonna tell them, well, just pray about it. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes you just really need people to talk to. You need people to vent to. You need an ear, to just lay it all out on the line and not be judged. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, people can give you good feedback. People can give you the answers that you seek. But people need to be open. People need to be open to hear certain viewpoints. Be open to hear feedback. Don't be ready to just shoot down feedback. Don't be ready to shoot down when people want to give you some answers or give you maybe some solutions. So that's pretty much my suggestion, my advice.
I think that's very sound advice because you know I know it seems like for a lot of in a lot of our communities, I'm talking about Black communities, that is, a lot of people just refuse to believe that they need to see a therapist or that there's anything wrong or going wrong psychologically.
Right.
And when people start feeling that way, as you were saying earlier, there's so many things and triggers that happen that you don't want to trigger the wrong thing because you never know what that outcome is going to be.
Right.
Can you share a few learnings or transformative moments in your career that have shaped who you are today?
Honestly, man, when I surrendered, when I gave my life to God, when I started reading the Word of God, there's no greater study, as my bishop says, there's no greater study than the study of the Word of God. So when I started studying the Word of God and reading the Word of God, it changed my life. It changed how I think. It changed how I act. It changed how I treat people. It changed how I respond to people. It changed how I love people. It changed everything about me. So when I surrendered and gave everything over to God, God really, the Bible says when you draw near to Him, He will draw near to you. So the more I drew near to God, He just changed everything about me. I'm just no longer the same person that I used to be. I'm not even close to the person I used to be. And that's because of what God has come into my life and did. He's totally changed everything about me. And my commitment to Him has really been the turning point for my life. It's been the turning point for everything that goes on in my life. The Bible says, I will keep you a perfect peace whose mind is stayed on Him. So as long as I've kept my mind on Christ, my life is at a sense of peace that I can't even explain. I'm not bothered by anything nowadays. And it's so many things that come at me, man, that I could respond to in a negative way, that I could get so depressed about or sad about, and I don't. It has no effect on me at all, because I know who I am now. The Word of God enables you to know who you are and what you are. And me knowing who I am and what I am now, which is a child of the Most High, that I'm anointed. I walk with purpose. I walk with a mission now. And once you find out what your purpose is, once God leads you and orders your steps, man, you can't go wrong. Once you know God is for you, nobody else can be against you. So I walk with that authority, man. I walk with that power and that conviction every single day. And nothing bothers me. Nothing gets to me. And my life has been, I'm not gonna say perfect. Still have my ups and downs, but for the most part, man, my life has been great. My life has been blessed. I live a blessed lifestyle, man. When I say a blessed lifestyle, I'm not talking about money and fame or none of that. I could care less about that. When I say a blessed lifestyle, it's just having a lifestyle of peace, having a lifestyle of knowing that I'm making a difference in the lives of other people, and people come to me for encouragement because they know they can depend on me to encourage them, to uplift them. People come to me for prayer because they know that I'm going to pray for them right then and there, you know. So people come to me to be inspired, to be encouraged, and that's the person I am now. I live with a lifestyle of love. I love people the way that we supposed to love people. So that's how I live my life, man.
So transitioning to that, tell me about the ministry. Are you actually ordained, or are you under the tutelage of someone as you're going through the church that you created?
No, I'm actually ordained. I got ordained last October. So I've been ordained over a year now. I'm an ordained minister. Yeah, so I just launching my Faithful and Focused ministry next year, no, January. Start of the year. I'm officially launching it. It's called Faithful and Focused Ministries, like you mentioned earlier in the intro. So yeah, I mean that's what it's all about now, man. I'm taking my ministry global. I want it to go global. So I wanted to be able to just impact the lives of people all over the world on a global scale. So that's what it's all about.
Oh, wow. So, what are you currently working on, and what projects or ventures are you most passionate about at the moment?
What I'm currently working on, I'm about to launch my first spoken word album. It's called Rise, RISE, which stands for Remember, Inspire Someone Every Day. So I'm dropping that, getting ready to launch that probably, if not next week, probably at the top of the year. It's going to be a spoken word album, so it's going to be phenomenal. So it's pretty much me doing spoken word enhanced by music. It's going to be a phenomenal, inspirational, motivational album that's going to hopefully inspire the world. So I'm launching that. Wow, I'm getting ready to do a documentary on mental health and depression because I really want to get in depth with tackling the the the
The main problem.
the main problem of dealing with depression and mental health. So once I launch that, it's going to go deep. I'm going to go real deep with that, so people can really see, what people deal with when dealing with mental health and depression. Like, it's not a joke. You know what I'm saying? So get ready to work on that. We start working on that at the top of the year as well. Working on a couple films. As you know, I'm an actor, filmmaker as well. So we get ready to start producing a couple of films, probably early spring. So we got that in the works. We get ready to plan a tour, a Rise tour as well, a Rise spoken word tour to help promote the album. So we working on that as well. Wow, we're working on it's called Laughs for Lifesavers tour as well. So a friend of mine, I have a movie on Amazon Prime right now. It's called Cheaper to Keeper. So if you watch that movie, the guy that's in there, Courtney McGriff, him and I, we're good friends. So we're about to launch a tour called Laughs for Lifesavers, where he's a comedian. So what we're doing is we'll get ready to take it on tour, go from city to city, and we're awarding those people who saves lives. Like EMTs, paramedics, firefighters, policemen, things like that. We want to award them because people tend to kind of neglect them or not want to give them their recognition. So we're taking it from city to city. We're going to award certain people in different cities, and we're going to also provide labs. We're bringing in comics, like major comics, like famous comics, to perform for them, and then we're going to bring them on stage and award them, and feed them. I mean, we're going to make it an all beautiful kind of event gala for them. So we're working on that as well. So that's going to be a major thing for 2024. So I got a lot of things in the works, man. A lot of things going on.
Oh, wow. You're going to be busy throughout 2024.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Most definitely.
Could you highlight some of your recent achievements and recognition in your various roles as a motivational speaker, minister, CEO, actor, author, and filmmaker?
Say that again. I'm sorry. Ask the question again.
Could you highlight some of your recent achievements and recognition in your various roles as a motivational speaker, minister, CEO, actor, author, and filmmaker?
Wow. Well, it's funny that you mentioned that. I just won the 2023 Actor of the Year award from One Way Radio Awards. They awarded me 2023 Actor of the Year. So I just found that out like less than a week ago. So I won that award. I think you even seen me post that. Wow, I just won another. No, I got crowned down in Atlanta this past weekend as Male Impactor of the Year. So I got an award for that. Because like I said, my main thing is making an impact. So they gave me an award for Male Impactor of the Year. Wow, man, I just got another award. I won Author of the Year early in the year. Because I have 3 books on Amazon right now. So I got Author of the Year earlier this year. Wow, so many different things has been going on. What else have I received? I'm always receiving things. Of course, I don't do things for accolades or whatnot, but, when you get awarded, of course, you're very appreciative of it. I do appreciate the recognition and the awards. I mean, I'm very grateful for everything that I win, but I really don't do it for that, man. It's all about just doing God's work. Am I making a difference? Am I being used by God the right way? Am I doing what's pleasing to Him? I don't do things to impress man. I do things to honor God. That's my main focus. So, if awards come with that, hey, I'll take it. I won't turn it down. But yeah, I mean, that's been some major achievements that I've received so far. And like I said, I got my own day in my hometown, Monroe, Louisiana, last year. So that's something that I can really be proud of as well. So it's been good. It's been good.
I think all those things actually are credited to the strength and the toughness that you have, as well as with the help and the strength of God that kept you here, because your purpose is your real purpose that you're living in right now. That's the big impact, was from my perspective, the way I see it. That is the thing that has impacted people. And that is the thing that really, I'm sure that's more than taken notice by a lot of people, even though that's not why you're doing it. But that's the respect that they're giving you because they respect you.
Absolutely agree. Yeah, like I said, I'll take it. Hey, if I get any kind of recognition, man, hey, I'm totally grateful, and something I'm starting to kind of build my own awards wall over here. So they're piling up, man. They're piling up. So hey, I'll take it. I'll take it.
One of our guests here just said that they love your story.
Nice.
They love your story.
Okay. I appreciate that.
How do you see your current contributions impacting the industry landscape, especially in terms of diversity and positive change?
Just sticking to who I am, remaining humble. Because I think people can see right through you if you come across as being fake or whatever the case may be. And I would never want to seem fake at all. You know, what you see is what you get. This is me. This is who I am. I'm always going to be humble. I'm always going to be positive. I'm always going to be encouraging, uplifting. And that's how I want to go about my life, you know, the rest of my life. So that's my contribution to the industry, to wherever I am, whatever I'm a part of. I want, when people see me, I want them to feel just such positive energy when they're around me. You know, I think there's a saying that goes, you know, I want your life to be better after I leave it. You know what I'm saying? I want you to feel better after I leave your presence. If you don't leave my presence feeling better, feeling more uplifted, feeling more positive, then I did something wrong. So whenever I'm in the room, I want to leave that room with people feeling lively, with people feeling enthusiastic, because I entered the room. I entered and I left, and I want people to just feel encouraged and uplifted. And I want to be a light. Whenever I go, wherever I go, I want to be a light in that arena or that space, wherever I'm at. So,
well, I'll tell you this, what it looks like. Uh-oh. Okay, your video's back.
Did you get all that?
Yeah, everything came through and then your video went out, but you're back.
Oh, okay, perfect.
So can you tell me this, you know, just within all of that and knowing how when you come in the room and the positive influence that you bring to the room, um, does that make you feel more secure and comfortable with the things you know that you're doing all right? Or do you feel like you're still walking in that purpose and there's just more that you've got to give?
There's more that I got to give, man. I mean, I'm just getting started. There's so much more I got to give. And I'm just going to keep, my goal is to always keep improving. You know, I want to keep improving myself. I want to, my thing about it is, you know, people talk about greatness, becoming great. My definition of becoming great is you have to constantly be working on yourself, constantly be striving to become the greatest version of you that you can be. You know, don't leave any stones unturned. You should always want to evolve. You should always want to grow and mature and soak in knowledge from as many people as you can. And that's what I want to do. I want to continue to improve and continue to become the greatest version of me. And the only way I can do that is to be around other great people and to continue to you know, soak in knowledge from people that know more than me, or people that are at the level where I'm trying to get to. So I'm always trying to soak in knowledge, man, always trying to learn and grow and evolve. So I mean, I'm just getting started, man. So I still have a long way to go.
Well, I'm glad that you're here, and I tell you, I know that future shows. I mean, we've got to keep up with these things that you're doing, so we can shine that light. Looking ahead, what aspirations and goals do you have for your career in the coming years?
I want, first of all, I want everything that I do. I want it to make sure that it makes an impact. Every book that I write, I want to make sure that it makes an impact. Every film that I put out, I want to make sure that it makes an impact. Um, my ministry, when it goes global, I want to make sure that it's changing lives and making an impact and making a difference in people's lives. I want to make sure that I'm leading people to Christ. Um, so that's the main goal. Like I said, you know, to be consistent. I want to make sure that I'm consistent. So for the next year, 2 years, 3 years, or whatever, I want to continue to grow. I want my company to continue to grow. I want to become a best-selling author, a New York Times best-selling author. That's my goal. That's one of my goals. I haven't reached that status yet, but I want to become, if I can put that on my resume, New York Times best-selling author. That's one of the goals that I'm trying to reach as well. Of course, I want I want to leave generational wealth. You know, I don't have kids, but I want to leave generational wealth to the kids that I mentor. I mentor a lot of kids. So I want to make sure to teach them about generational wealth. I want to teach them how to become great. This is what greatness looks like. I want to make sure that, greatness is not always about status, how much money you got and how famous you are. That's not greatness to me. That's not always what greatness represents. So that's my thing is about just continuing to create a legacy that will make an impact. So when I leave, it's still making an impact.
I have a question from the audience. The question is, how do you balance grace and self-criticism?
Grace?
Yes, and self-criticism.
Wow, self-criticism. Because you definitely got to give yourself some grace. and I'm very self-critical of myself. Wow, that's a good question, a hard question to answer. If I had to, I would say you have to really be secure in who you are. Like I said earlier, once you really understand who you are and what you are in Christ, none of that stuff really matters, because you automatically give yourself grace. That you know that you're going to make mistakes. You're not going to be perfect. You're going to mess up. And everything's not going to, you're going to fall flat on your face. You're going to fail. And we become our own worst critics at times. Of course, I'm my own worst critic. I'm very hard on myself. When I don't get things right, when I fail, when I don't succeed at certain things. But I know that, you know what, I made a mistake. I know what went wrong. Let me correct it. Let me do it differently this time moving forward. I know how to do it this way. Okay, let me try something different to see if it's going to succeed if I do it this way. Let me get advice or suggestions from somebody that has done it or is successful at it, or whatever the case may be. But I say not to be too hard on yourself. Just know that you're going to make mistakes, but make sure you learn those mistakes. You're going to be your own worst enemy. You're going to be very self-critical, but it's important to give yourself grace, because God is giving you grace. God is going to, is giving you the ultimate grace and mercy. So we have to follow suit and give our own self that same grace that He gives us.
And I have another question here from the audience. They want to know, did you go through isolation in your journey?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm still going through isolation. I'm still in isolation right now, but I definitely had to go through a lot of isolation, because I think isolation is very healthy for you, because it gives you a chance to learn yourself. It gives you a chance to really dissect yourself. It gives you a chance to work on yourself, to improve yourself, and to figure out what you need to work on, what you need to make better, what you need to get rid of. Especially when you isolate yourself with God. I isolated myself in the presence of God, and God pretty much broke it all down. He pretty much said, okay, Kenyon, this is what I need to strip from you. I need to strip all this unforgiveness from you. I need to strip this guilt from you. I need to strip this pain that you're dealing with in your past from you. I need to get rid of all this. And it's important to isolate yourself at times, because I think that's part of growth. That's a part of evolving. That's a part of maturing. That's a part of reaching your highest self, and highest vibration is getting in a place of isolation.
Considering the evolving landscape, how do you envision staying relevant and contributing to emerging trends in the industry?
Staying relevant and contributing. I think because I do so many things, being an actor, being a filmmaker, being an author, being a minister, being a speaker, I'm always doing so many things. So I'm always staying relevant somehow, because I'm always dibbling and dabbling in so many different avenues. And people, when I put movies out, of course, that's going to keep me relevant. When I'm speaking, I get a lot of media and press for that. And when I'm releasing different things, and I'm about to release this album, I think when I'm constantly being busy, when I'm constantly trying to be productive, that's what keeps me relevant, because I love being productive. When I'm not feeling productive, that's when I tend to fall into a sense of depression because I feel like I'm not being productive enough. So I'm always like, okay, I need to continue to allow my creative juices to flow. And one way is for me to just constantly be working on stuff, constantly be putting out stuff, constantly be productive and progressing, toward my goals, because I have certain goals that I have to meet, for myself. And I set those goals and I take those goals serious. So when I set, like I said, when I set certain goals, I want to achieve those goals and I put my mind to it and I get it done. So that's what helps keeps me relevant and keeps me contributing to the world pretty much.
Well, I think with all that work that you're doing, especially what's coming up next year, you'll be more than relevant. I think you're probably going to be on a lot of top A list for 2024 because those projects you're doing are going to be major projects.
Oh, absolutely. I received that. I received that. Thank you. Put it out there for me.
Definitely. When you reflect on your career in the future, what legacy do you hope to leave behind?
That he truly made a difference, that I truly made an impact, that I inspired millions of people around the world, that because of me, people felt like they didn't want to give up. I want people to feel like I gave them hope. Because of Kenyon Glover, I gained hope. I gained my self-confidence back because he instilled so much hope and positivity in me. Because I heard somebody say legacy is not about what you leave to people, it's about what you leave in people. And I do believe that. I want to leave something in people, which is hope, which is positivity, which is joy, which is encouragement, which is inspiration, motivation, and determination. I'm probably one of the most determined people I know because, I'm very resilient. I feel like I can never quit. I have a no quitter attitude, man. I'm just not gonna quit. I'm not gonna lay down and say I'm defeated and feel defeated. No, if I feel defeated, then I'm gonna find a way to overcome that defeat. So that's what I want to leave in people. I want to leave a legacy in people and not just to people.
Wow, that's real. How do you strike a balance between your personal life and the demands of a multifaceted career?
That's hard for me right there. That's hard for me. To be honest, I really don't have a personal life. I probably date every so often or go out on a date every so often. But I'm so focused right now, man. I'm so focused on my goals. I'm so focused on, my ministry. I'm so focused on getting done with everything that I'm trying to get done. I don't really have much of a personal life, man. Honestly, I can't even really say that. I can't really say, yeah, I'm hanging out a lot and I'm doing this and doing that on my personal time. I really don't have a lot of personal time because I'm so involved and invested into my career and making sure I'm being productive and, like you said, being relevant. That I don't really make time for personal time, personal, fun, really. I mean, I hang out every so often, or I may, like I said, go out on a date every so often, or go see family or whatever, and that's like very limited time, like one day or 2 days, and that's it. Okay, back to business. So I just take what I do very seriously, man. I don't really waste a lot of time doing nothing. I want everything that I do to be productive. I want to make sure that I'm always on top of my game.
So I have another question here from the audience. They want to know, have you felt lonely during your journey?
Yes.
Really?
Before you even get that out, yes, it's a very lonely journey. It's a very lonely journey. I mean, I was just telling somebody that the other day. Matter of fact, I think it's yesterday or the day before yesterday. I was like, man, this is a lonely journey, man. A very lonely journey because you get so focused, you get so involved in your career, you get so involved in other people's lives and other people's experiences, and you want to make sure that you respond to everybody, and that you're leaving nobody out, that you're leaving nothing out, that you're not being short on things that you're working on, that you're not um, um, just not allowing anything to get left behind. You just get so lonely because you feel like you pretty much disconnected from the world. You're disconnected from everybody, because you got straight tunnel vision. And sometimes you don't mind being lonely because you don't want to be distracted and get taken away and get off track. So therefore you don't mind being lonely at times, but at times you're like, okay, I'm a little lonely, so I need to I need to do something to get out of this loneliness. So I do have those moments for sure.
Well, you got to remember this. What works for you is what works for you.
Right.
Everything else is irrelevant. The relevancy of your success is how you create this formula. That's what's important. I have another question here from the audience. They want to know, did you find your gifts from God in your journey?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I would have never known I had these gifts until he showed me I had these gifts. God has a way of leading you down a path that will open your eyes, to certain things that you never thought you knew, that you would have never experienced if he didn't direct your path and lead you down the way that he wants you to go. But it comes down to a spirit of trust. You got to trust that God will lead you in the right direction. You have to trust that God will order your steps. But yeah, if it wasn't for God ordering my steps and showing me that I had other talents and other gifts other than basketball, I would have never known. I would have never known I could be a writer. I would have never known I could be an actor, motivational speaker, minister, none of this stuff. Until God showed me, like, okay, Kenyon, you got more talents. I gave you more gifts than just shooting a basketball. Okay. So I'm so glad. I'm so glad that I found out, that I have other gifts and talents to offer the world other than basketball.
So do you stay in contact with some of the guys that you knew from the league today?
Off and on. We talk off and on. We don't talk that much, but every so often, maybe twice a year, maybe we'll connect and may hang out and get a drink, get dinner, whatever. But not that often, but a little bit.
So, given your involvement in community activism, how do you view the intersection of art and advocacy in your career?
Wow, you got some tough questions here, man. Nobody's ever asked me that one before. How do I feel about art and advocacy? Wow. Advocacy, of course, me being an advocate for mental health and depression, that's part of my passion. That's part of what I do. I mean, I'm very, very attached to that, and being an advocate for mental health and depression, because a lot of people don't want to talk about it. And I feel like, hey, we need to talk about this. And let's not shove this under the rug and let it go untalked about, undiscussed. So that's important for me to be that voice, to continue to bring it to discussion. Let's discuss this because so many people are suffering in silence. So me being an advocate, I think it's important, for advocacy, especially with a topic that you're very passionate about. This is something that I'm passionate about. I love doing this. I love discussing mental health. I love talking about depression. I love being able to be that light, that voice, that people can relate to. Art, wow. I guess I would have to ask what form of art. There's so many forms of art. So what form of art? I'm not very artistic. I don't know if that's what you mean.
No, I didn't mean it like that. But just with you doing the art, I mean, apparently that it's made some kind of impact and got some kind of notice. And so that means that, again, it's one of those lights that you got that's just shining.
Oh, yeah, definitely. My art form is expandable. You know, I've expanded my art into motivational speaking now, and now I have an album coming out. You know, I think that's considered art. So I'm finding out that I'm very artistic, so to speak, and that's one of the gifts I've tapped into, and that I'm sharing with the world. So I'm proud. I'm proud to say that. I'm proud to offer it to the world now.
One of our guests says that they love the fact that you put God first in everything.
Absolutely.
And another question is, are you planning to visit Dallas with your art in the near future?
I live in Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah. So yes to that question.
Okay. Let's see. Can you tell me this? Tell us this. Can you share some insights into your creative process when approaching acting roles and filmmaking?
Yeah. So when approaching acting roles, I have to really get in depth with who I am as a character, who is my character, what is the story about, where is the story taking place, what's the time frame, who am I, what's my background, how did I grow up? I mean, it's a lot of that goes into developing, your character as far as acting goes. You have to find out everything that you can about your character. If I'm playing an actor named Jim from San Francisco, I got to know everything about Jim. How did he grow up? How was his parents? Did he have siblings? Did he grow up in an abusive childhood? Whatever the case may be, I got to know everything I can. What kind of job did he have? What is his attitude? I got to know everything. What is this? What is the story concept? So when you gather all that information and you kind of download all that information into your spirit, you kind of become that character. Especially if you're doing it over and over and over again, you kind of throw yourself into that character. You throw yourself into his spirit and take all that information in, and you become that character. The more you do it, the more you become him. And you kind of disconnect from yourself and who you are, and you become Jim. And you call yourself Jim. You walk around the house calling yourself Jim. So it's a lot involved when it comes to really taking on the acting role. It's not just saying lines and remembering lines. It's way more to it than that. A lot of people that don't know acting think you're just memorizing lines and you're just good at memorizing lines and saying lines. No, you have to really get deep into the character and the emotions of the character and the emotions of the story, and really feel and connect with the actor and connect with the story. So that's what I do. I make sure that I'm very connected to the film, to the story, to the actor, everything. So that's how pretty much I prepare. I do a lot of work. I do a lot of research on the character, on the story, everything. So a lot comes into it. A lot goes into it.
I have two other questions here from the audience. One is, are you looking to collaborate in your music?
Most definitely. Most definitely. I mean, I'm not a musician, but when it comes to spoken word, it's all about the beats, I guess. I just need to hear a beat, and once I hear the beat, I just pretty much go off the feeling of the beat, and that's how I come up with the words I'm going to say. So, when it comes to collaboration, yeah, I'm all about collaboration. Absolutely.
And are you preparing yourself for the industry?
Am I preparing myself for the industry?
Yes.
Not sure if I understand that question.
I mean, I guess, for music itself, that industry is very broad, diverse, and it does like a million and one things. And they got all these different categories or genres, whatever you want to call it. And I guess that's what they're meaning. Are you preparing yourself for the industry?
I am. I'm just going to throw it out there and see what happens. You never know how successful one thing could be unless you just try it, right? So this is something new that I'm trying. So I'm very prepared. This is my first album that I'm putting out. It's like I said, it's spoken word album, so it's not really. I'm not singing or rapping or anything like that. It's really focused on trying to empower people and inspire people with words. So, we'll see how it do. I'm just throwing it out there and see what happens. And I'm just hoping it be successful. I'm just hoping it just touch some people's lives. That's what it's all about. Just making a difference. This is this one avenue that I'm using to make a difference.
Well, and this is going to be our last question for the evening. I have several more, but I think this is the way we should end this. And that is, what are your advice? What advice would you give to inspiring artists navigating the challenges of the entertainment industry?
Wow. Don't end up on the casting couch. Don't do the casting couch. No, just playing. But yeah, some truth to that. But you have to stay committed. You have to stay committed to the journey. You got to persevere. You got to be resilient. You got to be ready to be told no. But just know that yes is coming. And just stay committed. Stay committed to the journey. Stay focused. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to achieve, you got to stay focused. It's not going to be easy because pretty much every industry is so saturated right now. And you got to figure out what works for you. How are you going to stand out? How are you going to stand out from what everybody else is doing? Because it seems like everybody else is doing the same thing, or people getting creative now. So you got to get creative and find out what's going to work for you. How are you going to stand out from among everybody else? What's going to make you different? And figure that out. Once you figure that out, stick with it, improve it, enhance it, do whatever you need to do to make sure you constantly putting content out there. Good content, though. Don't just put anything out there, because sometimes certain content can ruin you, So make sure you just putting good content out there.
Well, and from our audience, there's one person that says, "Let God keep leading you."
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Let God lead you. Let God direct your steps. Let God give you the vision and lead you down the path in which He wants you to go. Once God give you that vision, you gotta do the work. Faith without works is dead. You got to put in the work. You can have all the faith in the world. If you don't put in the work, it's not going to do anything. But you got to add that work to your faith. Make sure you just putting in the work, doing everything you need to do to, like I said, continue to improve yourself, becoming the highest version of yourself that you can be. And that's what greatness is all about.
Well, I will say this, Kenyon. I appreciate you stopping by and you letting me and the audience into your personal space of all the great things that you have going on. And I hope that you're able to come back with us as you're progressing, because we're definitely going to be tracking, seeing all the good things that you're doing and all the inspiration that you got going on.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. Go follow me on social media: Instagram, Kenyon Glover; Facebook, Kenyon Glover; TikTok, Kenyon Glover; LinkedIn, Kenyon Glover. Whatever you own, I'm on Kenyon Glover. So go check me out. Go follow me. Say hi. Drop me a DM. You can slide in my DMs. I respond to all my DMs. Just be respectful. That's all I ask. But yeah, man, thank you for having me on, and hopefully we'll do it again soon.
Yes, sir. And I thank you again. And that's the show for tonight. And I'd like to say to you all, please come back tomorrow at 6 p.m. as we have another great show helping the community out. We'll be talking about finance and education. So to y'all, have a great evening, and thanks for the show tonight.
Bye.